So I'm here with Keegan and Meg, and they're both very familiar with the Newport Opera House. Fill us in a little bit on the sorts of things that have been happening here.
One of the big ones for me happened during the Comedy Murder Mysteries in 1940. I had come in, I was doing props, stuff backstage, going over the show well before everybody got here, so I knew I had it down packed. And out in the house, granted I was behind the set, I hear my voice, my name called clear as day, and it was a woman's voice. There was only one other person here in the Opera House, and they were in the office here with the door closed, and it was not a woman, it was a man, which kind of alarmed me. I didn't think much of it at first until I had talked to Meg, and through her past here, she had had a number of stories, which kind of made me think that maybe I wasn't crazy.
Worked here for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was a kind of a rainy, overcast day, and I was out in the main hall here, near where the stage is. I was standing on a chair hanging up a picture. I didn't bother to turn the lights on because I could see well enough. In the balcony, I could almost pinpoint where the sound came from. It was center section in the balcony, second row about the third seat in. Somebody, the seats fold up, fold down, was going bam, 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 bam. I mean, it was loud, and it happened like 6 times.
Wow.
I was the only one here. You can't sneak up because these old floors are so creaky. I would have heard anybody, and it was pitch black up in the balcony. And then I heard a conversation. Couldn't make out the words. It sounded like adults talking, and then I heard a child's giggle, and then nothing. And I immediately came in the office and shut the door and stayed there for the rest of the day. It was during we were doing the musical Footloose, and there must have been 20 or 30 people on the stage, and all the lights were on. It was very noisy, like any musical would be. There was a break in the rehearsal, so I'm just standing on stage waiting for things to start up again, and I'm looking up into the balcony, and there were 2 exit doors off the balcony, and I was looking at the one on the right, and this, like the molding between the wall and the door was blocked by something. About my height, it was opaque, it was a gray in color, it almost had a texture to it of some sort. And I'm standing there looking at this thing saying, what is that? And next thing I know, it just, in a heartbeat, like that, went into the wall where the light booth is. Rehearsals, a lot of people will hear walking in the balcony.
So
Often.
footsteps. And
Yeah.
Is it always in the balcony?
Yes.
So it's always in the balcony.
Yeah.
In one of the previous investigations that they just did, I believe he had a flashlight set up on the floor right up there, and was talking in the house, asking if there was anybody there, if they could turn it on, and the flashlight turns on, and there's video footage on it.
Wow.
There's somebody up here. Can you tap that light that I just put on the step there? It'll turn on. Can you turn that light on for me? Can you do that one more time so I know it's not me? Okay, a little bit more. Turn it all the way on. That's awesome. Thank you. Can you turn it off again for me? Thank you.
And he had a REM pod he was up in the balcony on this side, stage right balcony. And because he thought he saw a shadow figure out there, so that's why he went right there and with the REM pod. and started asking questions and was getting answers by the REM pod reacting, you know, the lights going on and that funny sound it made. And he said, "Are you a little girl?" And yes, and, you know, one little, short little, as if she just touched that antenna. And "Are you here all the time?" And there was no reaction. So he said, "Well, do you visit the Opera House?" And yep. I asked, "Did you live in Newport?" And yes, she did. I said, do you remember the fire that happened here?" And yes, got a little on that, and that was 1885 that the fire happened. And then the investigator said, "So you visit other places in Newport. Is the Opera House your favorite?" And it's as if she grabbed that antenna because it made that sound. It was really loud. All the lights lit up. It sounds like a woman's whisper. I'm not sure of the words. He heard, "I visit here." You heard?
It sounded to me, and I'll play the audio for you in a little while. It sounded to me like it said that I've been here.
But it's definitely a woman's whisper.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. It's not a man.
Do you come for the shows, the plays? Do you come for the shows, the plays?
Can you guys walk us to the different spots that
Sure.
we think we should maybe spend some extra, time studying? Next, Meg and Keegan took us on a walking tour of the hotspots in the Opera House. The first stop was right there in the balcony, where Meg had heard the seats banging up and down. We're on the balcony now of the Newport Opera House.
It's here, right where I'm standing, in between this open door area and this wall. When I was standing on stage during rehearsal, I saw this shape. It was just about my height, kind of an oval shape like that, opaque. I could not see through it. That I was looking at standing right here, and as I watched, it went into this wall here.
The wall that Meg indicated was the one that led into the lighting booth. This is where Nathan Gardner called a possible thermal hit.
I have an image on my phone. I'm very unsure about it. It looks to me almost like you could see the shadow of a head through it.
Yeah.
The picture was taken down here, center stage. So it's kind of hard for me to tell if it could be any sort of glare or anything like that. So I never really have thought anything of it. However, I've spent many shows up here in this light booth by myself, and I get another eerie feeling when I'm up here. There's the light booth, the entrance to it is in the room out here in the hallway. I will shut both doors and always leave the light on in the costume room while I'm in there.
While we were still in the balcony, Meg showed us where exactly in the balcony the seats were that had been slammed up and down.
So it was this seat. I would put money on it. BB 112 or BB 113, one of the other. And it was this. Loud as that, and it scared the bejeepers out of me. And then I heard around here that conversation and then the child's giggle.
Then we left the balcony. We entered the costume room, which is right next to the lighting booth.
So this is our costume room. All the costumes have been removed for renovation, but it was always in here that I just got that that creepy feeling. And like I said, when we walked in here, I can feel it on my skin right now.
I did a quick baseline check with the K2 meter to see if there are high levels of EMF that might be causing discomfort. There were not. Okay, so the readings in here aren't that high. They're on the low end.
Another guy that's done quite a bit for lighting, that he won't even sit up here by himself. He had his own box designed that sat at the back of the house downstairs, and that's where he would do his lighting for any show.
It was time to tour the basement. The basement is a huge area underneath almost all of the Opera House. It consistently produces feelings of dread and uneasiness for anyone who goes down there. The Gardner investigation found that there were 2 spirits in the Opera House that were not so nice. I wondered if maybe that's where they were.
Follow me.
Yeah.
There's a couple of different spots I think that I would be very curious about.
There's another around the corner.
Yeah, you want me to bring you to that spot?
Yeah, let's walk her. Yeah. The first thing that we noticed were that there were many small rooms to the side of the hallway. These rooms were reported to have been jail cells at one point in time.
We're using it now for
Yeah.
storage, using them. That's just one. There are others up a little further that really look like jail cells. Well, I think one of the creepiest jail cells because it's got the boiler in it, the big old boiler. And you notice how the walls are painted? The Newport police used to have this as a haunted house, and kids would come through.
When we first walked down to the basement, we had a reading in the yellow, and it was about 2.5 on the K2. Right now, we're down to 1. As the walk continued, I kept taking baselines on my K2 meter. None of the readings were very high, except in the very middle of the hallway where there was exposed wiring. At the very end of the basement, around a corner, we passed through an arch. After that, there was a room called the Safe Room by Keegan that he said was particularly not fun to be in. Keegan had referred to this room as the Safe Room because it contains a very old vault.
That there is
Doors swing easily open or closed.
it's where I believe records of some sort were kept.
Yeah.
Very.
Old office furniture down here.
I've been in this back room only a couple of times. Will not come back here by myself.
When Keegan said that he didn't want to go back into this room by himself, my K2 meter suddenly spiked from green into orange and then stopped. It had been consistently green throughout the entire walk. The basement tour was over, and we headed back.